Hi, welcome to our painting stream. I'm here with my dad, who is Elsa, and we are going to be painting more miniatures today. We do these miniatures to use in our D&D stream. That airs on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern. We had last week off, but this week we're back. And yeah, so I'm gonna be finishing up this house, which is almost done. It just needs some washing on the roof and the stones and a little cleanup on the black beams on top. But almost done with that, and I've been working on this leopard while things dry, so I'm gonna keep plugging away at that. If you're interested in almost all our prints, we print here on the 3D printers just back there. And if you're interested in who makes them, you can go to our website, DysonDungeons.com. Under the attributions page, we list all of the 3D model makers that we have used for printing. Yeah, so I'll be finishing up this, and you're working on a similar house?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be weathering the blue, like that one corner. Doing that all the way around, trying to make it look pretty much like that. Good luck. And then I'm going to underwash the roof and the wood beams to give them a little bit of life, especially the roof. So, yeah, weathering the blue panels. What's next? Be using a bunch of this black wash and hopefully not making a mess of it. We'll see.
I'll be periodically stealing a little of that black wash, by the way. For the rocks.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, we get to uncover our realistic water. Let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, that's been how many days now?
Well, since Tuesday, so it's been a while. I mean, if it's going to set up at all, it is going to set up as much as it's ever going to set up.
Because it says it's a curing time of 24 hours, so it's had plenty of extra time.
Okay, plenty beyond 24.
And we'll see how usable it is. Right now I'm just taking this black, and with a couple spots along the roof that got a little smudged. Before I get around to the roof wash. And if that is good, we can always realistically water these other river tiles. So okay. So I'm gonna be doing a little black wash on the stone. This has already gotten a little. As you can see, compared to that, it's a bit more toned down. So I'm gonna do at least one pass of black wash on the stone. Do you mind if I use some of your?
Mm-hmm.
You do mind?
Mm-mm. You may use much of that. This is more than
Okay. So I'm putting a nice thick layer of black wash on the rocks here. That'll tone it down, seep into the cracks between the rocks, things like that. And I'm actually going to be leaving it on its side like this so that the wash stays in the cracks and doesn't run out of it. I'll hopefully sort of bring them out a little bit more. It's a little more time consuming. But it takes about 10 minutes for it to dry enough. And the result of waiting while it's down like that will be that it sorry. I just realized I need a bit more. Perfect. The result of that is there'll be a lot more contrast where the thicker parts of the paint cooled compared to the thinner parts. So, I'm going to take a look at my leopard here. I was starting to put in these beginnings of spots on this leopard the other day. And I was getting up towards the head, which is where I'm going to need to sort of do a little more detail. But actually, there's a couple spots from my previous work that I want to clean up a little. Oh, hey Bowen. Yeah, feel free to lurk. Thanks for coming to check us out today. Have a good time working, hopefully. I'm gonna just clean up a couple little spots between the spots that I'm not 100% happy at, but when you're putting on 100 or so dots, you don't always get it 100%. And what I'm doing is taking the... Oh, thank you. Yeah. Let's see how far I get on this Jaguar today. When you're putting on 100 or so spots, sometimes they can't all be winners, I guess. Alright. Any other spots I want to... I'm taking the base color right now and going over some of the spots I want to redefine. And then with this little amount of paint, it'll dry pretty quick. So I'll be able to work fairly regularly on it, unlike the building here, which has a slower dry time with the wash. So there's a couple spots I want to make a little bigger. And a couple areas as well. So I'm going to take, I've been using red-brown for the outer ring of the spots, because they actually have these sort of ring-shaped spots after doing a little research. And I'll probably be looking up a photo today for the head portion as well. There's just a couple spots that are a little messier than I want them to be. Okay. Yeah. or not panther, jaguar. The panther is it panther, puma, interchangeable? There's too many names for this cat.
Mm-hmm. Usually they kind of reserve panther for the melanated.
The black. Isn't puma also used solely for the black?
Puma is lion.
Oh, is puma like a cougar?
Mm-hmm.
Cougar, mountain lion, puma?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these cats have too many names. Hard to keep up. So, one thing I think I'm gonna do is find our best quality teeny tiny brush. This might actually be a good time to bring out some of my fancy new brushes. But they're like so fancy and new, I don't wanna. Yeah. The lighter tiles on the dark breaking up on yours are pretty great. Like, I have these new brushes that are awesome, and I've been wanting to use them, but I also like don't want to ruin. Let me see what I have over here in our older brushes. These tiny ones are really beat up, aren't they? Okay, I'll use the new brush. This is like a extra fancy Japanese brush. Ooh, so exciting.
Yeah, this should work really well with it.
I know. I just feel like I'm ruining something really nice by using it. What I'm going to do on both of the cats, actually, because that still has 5 minutes or so to dry. I'm gonna take the scarlet and put a little red inside their open mouths. I really don't need a lot. And I'll probably get a little on the teeth. That's okay, because I'm planning to put a little ivory on them. I just want a little tiny flash of red in the tiny mouth that no one will ever see. And I need so little, I'm just basically collecting paint from the top rim of the painting bottle. That's even visible. Yeah, it's a little red now.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty skilled to get that in there.
These brushes are really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had those red sable ones that are hanging down there, but they're bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, you bought like 4-0.
All I know is it's a Japanese brand called God Hand.
there.
This is the smaller of the two we bought. And they come with 2 separate caps to protect them when you're not using them. Alright. So I got a little bit of red in there. I'll probably put in some teeth. Give this a little test. Okay. Let's bend it on the edge. I am going to pull up my Jaguar picture I was using. This is Jaguar picture, so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do some teeth next. I'm pulling this ivory, but this one's very low, so I'm gonna have to. I don't particularly want to, but I'll see if I can get enough out of the cap without having to.
Is that the old?
Yeah, this is the old one. Okay, I got a teeny tiny bit out of the cap. My Pumas started my practice test one because it's easy to clean. Because it's just dark blue. And I splotched a little on it, but. Alright. Let's see.
House is now weathered. And it doesn't look as good as if Nikki did it, but you know, it should be okay on camera. Now I'm going to get out the fangs too. That's really impressive. That's a good brush.
It's a really good brush.
Yep, so clean out that cup and get out some umber wash and do the wood beams. And I'll probably do the roof first. So I can hold it down here. And then do the wood beams just to give them a little bit less monochrome. Get to use my giant brush on the roof because it's so big.
Where's that black lips? gonna require a little cleanup, but we're getting somewhere. Did you leave the black wash cup out? Or did you go
No.
wash it?
I washed it. No, I'm using it for the brown. Use it.
I'll step away from the Jaguar for a second. Oops. I hate opening the black wash. And get the back end of the rock wash. There we go, that's definitely gonna fall over.
One half of the roof is done, and I'm just going to let it sit like this because the wash is collecting under the shingles, and that's where I want it to highlight those. So I'm gonna let that kind of dry for a while while I around the outside here.
And then I'm going to end up actually using some of the black wash for the head spots because it's thinner. It'll let me get a lot more finite detail where I want it after I clean up.
And it's starting to set up. So I'll let that go for just a couple more minutes and then flip it over and do the other side of the roof. And
Okay. So, with my little Jaguar reference here, I'm just gonna be poking tiny black dots. Now, the advantage of these head dots is they do not seem to be rounded like the others.
if you ever have to fight this, you make sure you get it close up. And we'll have Nines talk to it and maybe tame it and make it
Her
a
friend.
companion.
Exactly. This is just very focused work, so sorry, I'm not talking as much.
Oh, it's really intense.
I'm also using a little black wash here to tone down parts of the mouth and face, which are a little blaring in their brightness at the moment.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'm gonna clean off my fancy brush before I forget. So, still work in progress, but this camera, there's nothing else you can clean. Come on, focus. There it goes. Here's the Jaguar in process. I had one of the spots on the back somehow flake off, which is annoying. So I'm gonna do a quick little repair on that. While I check my cabin house thing. Quick little repair. It should be okay on the cabin wall. So, Mr. Jaguar aside, I'll do the next segment of rock. And I'm probably gonna give the front one more pass because I'm not quite happy with it. Kind of relaxing. Yeah, I hate this bottle, by the way. The black wash bottle. It never stops making that. Set that up to dry.
Water in there so the wash doesn't set. So, I'm declaring this house complete.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah.
Nice and weathered.
Sort of randomly weathered and the roof is changed now. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's looking good. Yeah, I'll hold it closer to the camera. Yeah, that blue came out pretty nice.
yeah, it did turn out okay. Kind of heavy on the black wash, but it needed to be really toned down. It's a really pretty blue. So,
I'm gonna look at doing the inside dots with my Jaguar, which I'm going to use light orange for. Because looking at pictures, it looks like the inside dots, the insides of the dots tend to be lighter than the outside part of the.
that's it's really getting intense when you do that. Doing the insides of all the dots. So I think what I'm going to do, since I've got brown wash was out, is very heavily brown wash the sand, like the other one, which has realistic water in it. Which, by the way,
Well, it looks wet.
looks, you know,
Is it? Feels adhered. So clearly the tape did not hold fully.
no, it leaked out a little bit. there's realistic water on the plate now. That explains why it kind of went down and.
It's definitely tacky.
Well, it's been a long time.
I don't think this is gonna be a viable option.
No, well, it's still wet on the bottom where it was.
Yeah, I think
not
this,
exposed to the
this
air.
piece is probably dead. Unless we clean it to the point of stripping the paint.
Yeah, well, it's probably easier to print a new one. So the realistic water
is not.
Although it looks kind of realistic.
Too realistic.
Is wet. It's maybe more realistic than the water. Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you don't touch it or let anything else touch it. Anyway, we'll have to sit there for another time, and we'll check it next Tuesday. But you can see the dark sands. I'm going to put a lot of brown wash on that, like this, from the other ones, because that looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And basically just let it cool and sit for a long time without turning it.
Well, these aren't too hard to print or paint, are they?
No.
So what we might do next on one of these is epoxy is kind of a pain, but if we want the water to look kind of gleamy,
I think a thin layer of epoxy is what I'm leaning towards.
yeah,
Just brush on a very thin layer of epoxy.
We have a high luster lacquer. We could mask it and spray it on.
We could try that. I don't think it has to be deep. I think it just wants the
just shiny
wet effect.
We also have some polyurethane varnish. If you don't like the lacquer, yeah, the spots really look good that way. It's pretty amazing how you're doing that.
Let's see if I can get it to focus easily this time.
3 coats of this are required. Anyway, a couple coats. We've used the lacquer before, and you just mask off, the banks on the sand.
The parts you don't want lacquered.
And then spray it on.
That seems like the easiest option and probably better long term than... Because if you don't get the epoxy mixture right, it will be tacky.
Yeah, I mean that has happened before.
When I mix the epoxy.
Wash some of this realistic water off.
Off of yourself. You don't want to be realistically wet.
Sheet of paper to lay underneath the.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, this will dry by the end of show today,
And we can get a sense of how it looks.
and I can just tape off those areas and spray it with the lacquer and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Experimentation.
You know, that's the nice thing about not having paid like $15 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
Is that
If you mess with one of them.
although the realistic water is pretty expensive.
Well, I'm sure we can always find something else to use it for eventually.
Mm-hmm. Something we want to have stay sticky.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Got it?
Always important to drop your figures.
You can puddle it like that.
Yeah, you just puddle it like that. Now that's gonna take like
Forever to dry.
a long time to dry. Just so you know.
Yeah. I might be able to. Oh, we could spray the lacquer on it. It has to happen out in the ventilated areas, so that's going to go out in the garage.
Yeah, we can't
Well, we
spray
do
it
our
here on
priming.
the show.
And after it's dry,
Because you can't. Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
You can't, yeah. You can't really tip that while it's wet. So.
no.
I'm currently putting on leopard spots in a very hyper-focusy sort of way.
I'm just throwing on gobs of umber wash
A river
on
bank.
the river tiles. I think he very carefully highlighted with dark and light blue. The realistic water looks pretty realistic, but
It's a little too realistic in that it's still wet.
yeah, it doesn't dry. Doesn't form a solid surface. It stays sticky.
Awesome. That's always cool. That's one of the nice things with college is you get a chance to be like, sometimes, you know, it's sort of like when you're in, as a really young kid, you can just be like, hey, do you want to be friends? Yeah, okay.
I'm assuming that we're gonna pretty much paint these the same way.
Yeah, but they need to be primed.
Oh yeah, you can tell by the lack of primer.
If you want to run upstairs, you can go prime them. They won't take very long to dry. My leopard butt coming along. So we'll focus. Yeah, that's good to know always. Because, you know, to a certain degree, I'm kind of like that too. It's not like actually that bad, but I'm just very introverted generally.
No, however, this got printed. Base does not come on.
Yeah, some of those earlier river tiles. Exactly, yeah, making it's effectively Chester. It'll be a little less orange once I put an umber wash over to shade things down, but for now this Jaguar is very Cheetos.
Violent maneuvering it, cutting the base off. Printing base.
Is that what all that noise is? Or?
Yeah, crackling and cutting. And there, it's off. Miscellaneous. Let's see. I can prime these, or I can look in the miscellaneous, the box of miscellaneous primed items.
Mm-hmm. There's that really big bed.
Or it's gigantic.
That you could do if you felt like it. Oh, that's fun. And also suck.
Into 3D printed Posturepedic mattress. Nicely curved on the middle, high on the middle and low on the ends, so that zero off. And that, here's the frame. So that fits inside of there, I'm guessing.
seeing how it pieces together first.
Yeah. Not great.
That was one of those experimental prints.
Yeah, trying to keep. I don't think it was intended. I think that it was intended for the mattress to go down deep into the frame. When you do that, it gets asymmetric. See how it's angled? Almost have to. Well, that can be fixed by just just filing off the corners of the mattress. That would work.
Wearing them in a little.
Yeah, I mean, just filing them off so they're kind of rounded, and then they'll fit inside these. Because the frame, the posts intrude into the frame, which keeps it from being square. So one way to do it would be, actually, so that the mattress didn't look weird from the top, would be to just file off the posts where they are inside the frame.
Where they won't be visible.
Mm-hmm. And you won't notice that they're missing because they're inside the mattress. So here's part of the canopy. I'm guessing that goes on there like this on the post. But this looks like a decorative feature.
No. These are the feet of the bed.
Oh, these are the feet of the bed. Okay. There. Wow. There you go. The mattress definitely has to fit in. And then this just goes on top of it like this. And it's open? Or is there a
I think
that
it's
goes
open.
on top of that?
I'm not sure if it goes the other way around though.
I guess it can work that way. It kind of sets in.
Yeah, I think it goes that way.
So it's arched around the top. Well, that's good. I had every piece upside down except the mattress, which doesn't fit.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, you could always run over and grab some food or order pizza or something. I guess you're in the UK though, so I don't know what that's like.
Okay, well, we can either work on this bed or I can find some things. Maybe I'll just file some of this and see how easy it is to do.
That works.
And if it looks like I'm messing it up, so I have some sharp knives with nice handles on them. That's looking really good.
There's some of the green orange that's still drying and will be toned down.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow. pretty impressive.
Before I do any washing, I will need to paint the ground around its feet. And I got really absorbed in that, so I need to take a second to finish my house here. Alright, so clear off the orange that's spilled on the cap here. While I wait for the Jaguar to dry. I think what I need to do is umber wash the roof. And I'll just break out the really big brush to do this. You can't really mess it up.
Well, that's going to take forever.
What I'm doing is finishing up this house by putting the umber wash on the roof. And I'm trying to get good coverage, so I'm starting from the bottom and going against the tiles.
I have these very sharp little gouges in various shapes. There's even one with a 90-degree angle.
Those are my old wood carving tools.
Yeah, they're really good.
For doing woodcut.
Which you done Nichole?
Yeah.
See that.
It's upstairs. Alright, so I have gotten through one half of the roof and used basically every single drop of the umber wash I poured out. So I'm gonna let that sit so that the undersides are a little darker than the upper portions. What I will do in the meantime is figure out what color I want the Jaguar's base to be. I'm guessing, should I go gray or brown?
Brown with contrast. White as well. I painted green and jungly.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like brown and gray are more
Universal
options. Like, could be a desert, could be a jungle, could be, whatever. Maybe I'll use the flat earth the way it's intended and use it as earth. What do you think?
That would work.
That just made me
It is
realize
fairly
I haven't painted the Jaguars as much, but it looks like they're basically just lighter. So that'll be a shading thing. Which one of these is the more empty one?
Yeah, you might have to almost
Grape.
do that and get a toothpick and stir it.
I don't need too terribly much, and I will be pretty leaned over here, so. Because I want to avoid messing up the paws too terribly much. So what I'm looking to do is sort of outline the area around where the paws meet the ground without getting up on the leopard that I've already painted. And the hardest part will be coming in between the legs. Once I get these outlines in, I can come in with a still small brush, but slightly less small brush. You got it fitting?
Mm-hmm. So if you're not so terribly carefully gouging at it, mattress now fits.
Intended location.
In the bed frame.
Okay. Got her around the paws. Not really any issue. Clean off my nice brush. Cool. Reset. Check my roof. Coming along.
Don't spill anything on the Jaguar. So, okay, this bed. I'm thinking red, blue, or purple with gold.
Oh, you want the bed painted instead of like a wood?
You know, I was thinking, yeah, it's pretty fancy looking.
Why don't you go full Roman?
Purple and gold.
Mm-hmm.
So paint the insets purple and the outside gold.
And then twists?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably. I think that makes the most sense. You would put the gold very prominent.
Could these be like vines, bright green, with a contrasting background?
I think they're supposed to carve wood. You know.
Mm-hmm. So just different colors of wood.
Or you could just paint it all one wood and use a wash and let it sit in the lower spot to create that shadow.
Well,
Depending on how motivated you are. Yeah, this flat earth, this old flat earth is definitely kinda lumpy.
yeah, well,
It's fine for the ground here, but just need to use it up.
so we'll see how this looks. If it looks terrible, then we'll just paint it over. Think too gaudy? You think it should just be wood, like contrasting colors?
It's kind of a you call, like, it's gonna be a fancy bed no matter what. Is the person who sleeps in it the type, like, who needs to have gold on everything? Or are they like, just like, I like a very finely crafted bed?
Sure. Crafted, finely crafted. So I'm just going to do contrasting wood colors.
That works if you're going that direction.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is paint the inside of the spirals dark, and also the inside of the carving around the edges dark, and then highlight it with buff or maybe the dark sand,
Or the deck tan.
or even the deck tan. I mean, I'll try some. But I'm just going to paint the base now with the dark. See how the contrast works later.
Okay, so I have a dark ground for my Jaguar now. to stand on. Looks a little more complete, not having a gray splotch thing. Because I think after that dries, my next step on this little Jaguar guy is going to be there he is. He's going to be shading, but that base might take a second to dry. But in the meantime, my roof is dried enough for me to go do the other side. So, to do the other side, I'll finish cleaning my brush. Always good.
Paint the whole thing. So that
Yeah, I was gonna say I would paint everything, all the color of one, either the light or the dark, and then do the detailing over it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to dictate your work.
Mm-mm.
We're really at the end of this umber wash bottle. I'm just gonna take my big brush and get this side of the roof covered in umber wash. Working against the grain of the tiles, the wood shingles. And the reason I do this is they all have this ridge to them. So while it's going down with gravity, the ridges will catch some of it. And that'll create an effect where the ridges, the bottoms of the ridges of the shingles, will have a slightly darker look to them. Because there's a little more wash that has dried. There. I might not actually have enough umber wash in the bottle to finish the roof. I'm just getting bubbles. Dead bottle. Officially. This. We don't have another umber wash that's open over there, do we?
No. A lot of various greens.
We can do green bedding.
Could do green bedding. Or the sheets could be purple.
Mm-hmm. I don't usually have to shake wash too much, but this is a brand new bottle, so I'm just gonna give it a little swirl. I don't need too terribly much of it to finish where I am.
Better with a bigger brush.
Okay. Go to the last step for this cabin. Just set it over here to dry. Looks like my Jaguar's base is still pretty wet. Barely looked at this panther. It'll be a little side project after I'm done with other things. Working on that panther. I'm sort of at a wait for things moment. Because I don't want to handle the Jaguar too terribly much. I suppose I could start shading while it's on the table. But before I do that, I'm going to pull up my Jaguar picture and get a good sense of what parts are darker, what parts are lighter. So for this shading part, I'm going to be using a wash, probably my umber wash here. Try to shake things around. So. And I am going to be very carefully applying
little bits of wash.
So, one thing with the Jaguar from my pictures is that the forearms are a little lighter. I'm going to leave those less washed. unwashed.
It's not bad. It does look better washed. Although you have to be careful not to get too much of it.
Well, that's because it also dries and lightens. So.
Yeah, it lightens a lot as it dries.
Hi, how are you doing? Is it Chia Sarsims? I'm not great at pronouncing usernames usually. We're just painting some D&D minis for our D&D show, and I am working on a Jaguar right now.
And I am working on a 4-poster bed. I'm putting a base coat of dark wood on everything, except the mattress, which isn't wood, I guess. And then going to do various highlights. Like these are the feet. So they're probably going to have like a brass or gold, probably brass, highlight on these little rings there around the feet. And I'm going to use a contrasting wood motif with a much lighter color wood to highlight some of the detail. Like the spirals, I can't really pick it up because it's so wet. But you can kind of see that there's spirals here. I'm going to highlight those either on the outside or the inside with a lighter color. And then there's some carving on the base. And the parts that aren't really well painted here, the raised parts will be a lighter color. Probably much lighter, like either a yellowish kind of sand color or a buff, depending on what looks better. So, just in case it shows, this is the very, very bottom. I'm going to paint not all the way to the middle, because that's where I'm holding it, but pretty much around the edges, just in case it shows for whatever reason when we actually use this in the show. This is a really interesting paint. It goes on kind of reddish, but then dries to a really dark, rich, kind of walnutty color.
That's how it's coming on that side versus.
Yeah, it really looks better with the wash on it.
You think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's more uniform.
Well.
And gold.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't look quite so orangey.
That was the goal. To tone the orange down a little bit.
No, I guess the very bottoms of the feet aren't going to show, so I can set it down. Since this is mostly dry, I'm going to do touching up on it. Because when painting large areas, for some reason, there's always like these little bubbles or something, these spots that don't fill. So I guess I'll paint this is the top on the canopy. Well, obviously those need to be painted. Good thing I checked. Tops of the post showed. Once this is glued in,
Mm-hmm.
and they hadn't painted them.
Good catch.
Mm-hmm. Although, you know, you can always paint them later, but
You have the paint now?
paint out, the brush is all full of paint. So should this very top, the railings and the carvings are going to be the lighter wood.
Mm-hmm.
Should this top also be the lighter wood and just the inlays dark? Should I make them colorful? Like that? I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to just paint just this frame part wood, and then the very top part will be colors. Maybe two colors alternating, or maybe just one color.
That might be nice, yeah.
With a metal ridge or something. I'll be, yeah. Handy little alligator clip
To help hold things. Yeah.
Hold that while I'm painting it, because otherwise I've already been getting paint all over my hands. Yeah, the shading looks good. And contrast and pause. And the underside is lighter than the top, which is how it should be.
It's a real live cat. Okay, so still a little wet, but here's the Jaguar as it's coming. Let that dry for a little bit.
Pretty exhausted after that.
There's a lot of focus. I am thinking of giving it one last treatment and doing a lighter wash over the top of the brown wash in some specific areas. Like, doing like a really watered down, the base coat color.
Yeah, it'd have to be really watered down.
Yeah, like super watered down. I think my house is dry enough to say it's done. So, cabin, lodge, house. It's gonna need a little more drying, but that's basically what it's gonna look like by the end. So, I think I'll call that good and set it over. What I think I will do is rinse out these 2 cups quick. So, in order to get that sort of gold look that some Jaguars have, I'm going to take this little bit of water in this cup, take the color I used as the base, and I'm actually going to be adding, I tone the water amount down a little here. I'm going to take the water soluble paint here, just a little bit of it, and mix it into this water. Maybe too much water is what I'm looking for. I'll use this little. And this will effectively create a very, very light wash. Alright. So, what I'm gonna do is take my Jaguar here. Very carefully use this wash that I made to lighten certain areas up a little. How is your bed building going?
Okay. Purple sheets?
Sure, yeah. Why not?
Sheets right across the top, probably.
Probably, yeah.
I'm gonna put the white on first. Sometimes that takes two coats. Would white look better or ivory?
I think ivory makes more sense.
Yeah.
I think. It's not quite getting the effect I want. Instead, do you have an eyedropper?
Put paint in a cup, and then use the eyedropper to put some water
Although there's already a tiny bit of one here. I think this will get me more the effect I want.
in. Oh, it was on here though.
I might not need it actually. I have a fairly good solution. I'm putting this over the area I want and then peeling back a little. Hopefully it won't make it too muddy. I think it is, unfortunately. I might need to redo the back a little bit here. It's just too wet, which is fine. I like most of it, but this one spot I'm not a fan of. So, in order to fix that, I'll just redo this section. No big deal.
You have to redo spots.
Yeah, in a small area. It's not a big deal. As long as the paint dries relatively quickly.
Clean these cups a little bit here. Okay.
I'm just waiting for some paint to dry. The rivers look like they are drying nicely. So we'll probably be lacquering those soon. See how that turns out.
Okay. Alright. I think I'm going to experiment with contrasting color on these posts.
Okay. What are you thinking you'd like the most? We have sand, we have deck tan, we have
I think I'm going to try the dark sand. Yeah. I'm going to try it on, try some experimenting on the posts. One of the spirally posts.
This is the dark sand here.
Mm-hmm.
So people know. We used dark sand on the riverbank and then washed it.
Yeah, very heavily.
Heavily.
This isn't going to get washed because it's a fancy bed. And if this doesn't work, then I will get out the flat brown, which is the dark brown that I've got as the undercoat.
And just paint over it?
Paint over it and try something different. So I'm going to try to do this by putting the brush sideways and using the raised surface. Okay, well, that's just making a mess. Clearly, I'm not as good at this as some people. Yeah, that line's not too bad. I'll just have to do like 3 iterations of
going over and under.
Going over and under and touching it up and retouching it.
Hi, Esty. How's it going? I'm mostly done with my Jaguar, but there's a section I didn't like. So I'm just redoing it a little bit. This is sort of where the Jaguar's at. It's got its spots and shaded a little, and that's the area I'm redoing, that lighter spot. We finished both the houses, and now you're working on a fancy super bed, and I'm working on finishing up the Jaguar and failing to close that gap, apparently. It's exciting. I'm waiting for mostly just waiting for individual spots to dry, and then I'll be going in with my light orange, doing the center of the spot. Once that's dry, I will redo the wash so that it looks more uniform with the rest of the Jaguar, and hopefully be happy with it and be done. Drop it a few times. That's always important. Redoing spots is funny looking.
No, without the wash?
Yeah. Like that side got bleached a little of the panther.
Mm-hmm. It's playing out in the sun and...
I forgot that spot on its back with the suntan lotion.
Mm-hmm.
But, wait, no. It was the only spot it got suntan lotion.
Mm-hmm.
For its fur.
That's what happened.
It's like dry enough. Luckily, when you're working something this small, it tends to dry fairly quickly. So, you don't have to wait too terribly long. Dropping a little bit of my light orange inside each of the spots because they have these sort of ring spots on Jaguars. Like a little microcosm of what I did before. Alright, and I'm happier with this pattern already. Let that dry. Clean off my brush. So, reworking this leopard section. Let's see if I can get it to focus quickly this time. There it goes. I have the spots redone. It just didn't really look like how it looked once the wash got on it with the pattern under it, so I just painted over it, applied a new pattern, and now I just need it to dry so I can wash it again.
To make it blend in with the rest.
Yep. And the thing you gotta be careful of when you're doing something like this is that if you get wash on top of the area you've already washed, it'll be extra dark.
Yep.
So when I get to it, that section of wash is going to be done very carefully. Let's see. And since that's drying for a second, I'm going to clean out this cup so I can put wash in it.
I'm trying to very carefully, with just modest success, highlight the stripes on this bed post.
All right. Make sure my hands are relatively dry here. Alright, I think that's good enough to wash now. This will be the test of skill part of this fix. Is making it match. I probably only need like 1 drop of wash, which is about the smallest amount I can get. Alright. For this, I'm actually going to work from the center out, paying attention to the tone of the wash that I'm going out towards. I'm trying to match the volume approximately. Drop everything, it's that kind of day. Important to do.
Yeah, sometimes gravity is a little bit stronger during some days than others.
Alright. I think once that dries and lightens slightly,
Yep, you won't be able to tell that it must be done.
it should look okay. And that's why putting a good base coat in creates a lot less work later on. So, I think I'm close enough to calling this Jaguar done. I don't think I'm gonna do too much shading on the base. I don't know, do you think I should throw some black wash on the base?
No,
I wasn't
the
thinking.
base is really small. You can't really see much of it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
just keep it generically brown. As this little bit of wash settles, I'll probably take some pictures and post these on Instagram. I was a little slow posting last week. I should just not pick up anything else today. Okay. Still a little wet, but here's our Jaguar. Feel alright about it. And since we're hitting 5 o'clock, we'll probably start wrapping up here. I'm gonna take a couple pictures. Maybe.
Okay, well, this is going to need some massive amounts of touching up. But I was checking out the colors. What do you think? I think it looks.
I think color-wise that should work pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of
Clean it.
Back and forth, getting the edges right. Print has fairly well-defined edges, but not always in all the places. And yeah, anyway. So I'll go back over it with the dark brown, and then go back over it with this color, and then go back over it with dark brown. And after 2 more swipes with each color.
Here are the houses we finished today. Take some pictures. Okay. Take it. I'm gonna send those off to Lexi. And she might take better pictures than I am. Alright. Well, I think I'm gonna end the stream. I know you have a little bit left to do.
I was just going to do this highlighting here just to see how it looks.
Okay. On the upper part. I'll put away my extra brush. Okay.
So that's
all right. Yeah.
it's really pretty messy, but back
Not
and
bad.
forth a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. I think that'll be good.
I think the colors are okay anyway.
Yeah. It looks like a light wood and a dark wood that's been like melted, molded. All right. Well, I'm gonna call it there since we're just after 5. We have other stuff and dinner to do. So, thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you on Sunday for the show at 2 p.m. and on Tuesday at 3 for our next painting. All right. Bye.
Bye.